Hello, everybody. Let me turn my camera on, get my background. Okay, you can see. Hello, welcome into the live. Tap it up, share it. Let's get on the FYP quickly so we can have a good town hall tonight. And let me do the same as I'm telling you guys. I'm gonna repost. Hope you guys can hear me. Let me add it to my story. Send your daily heart me's. Do all of the things so we can. Hello, Ashley. Hey, Joni. I'm seeing some people in the chat. Sianka, Miss Nikki. Let's go ahead and tap it up. Thank you, guys. Oh, thank you. All right, we're gonna have a good town hall tonight. I'm excited. This is my first one by myself. We'll see how it goes. I'm excited though. This should be great. We know Texas is a big state when it comes to what's going on right now in politics. They've flipped some seats. Oh, okay. Hello.
Hello, and I'm gonna try to get this right. Sorry.
No, you're fine. It takes everyone a minute. Hi.
Okay, why didn't the background come in right? What did I do wrong?
You can click yourself and then click, if you swipe all the way over under effects, it should have green screen.
Okay, look, I'm gonna go out and follow your instructions and look for the invite while I'm in the live. While I'm in, no?
No, yeah, you can do it right now. So you do it while you're on the live. So if you click your box. Okay, and then it should be at the bottom. It says like effects. There you go. And now you should be able to click the picture that you want. Perfect.
Woo, look at me.
Yes.
I think I got this right. Can you see?
Yes.
Myself. There we go. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Look at me. I'm getting in here. I'm gonna turn the volume up too.
Nope, you're good. Get my camera together. Make sure I can see. Okay. All right. Dea Foy, is that how you pronounce your name?
That's good. Yeah, Dea.
Okay. I just want to make sure I got it right. All right. Welcome in, everybody. We're about to get started with Dea, who's running for Texas U.S. House Representative, District 5. Welcome in. Trying to give people a little time to get in here so we can make sure everyone hears what you have to say and why you want to run for Congress and represent your district.
Definitely. It's exciting times. I'll put it like that.
Yeah.
Exciting times. And probably if it were not for the time, limitations on when you can file in Texas, I think we had December 5th, and probably around January things got really crazy. I think more people would have been filing to run if it wasn't for the cutoff.
Yeah. Yes. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to OVC. Our vote counts. I'm gonna tell you who we are. Well, let me start. I'm Blessings. I'll be your moderator for tonight as we are here with Dea, who's running for Texas U.S. House of Representatives, District 5. And this is Our Vote Counts. Our Vote Counts is a nonpartisan coalition of citizens from diverse states and backgrounds, united by a shared commitment to empower voters and promoting candidates who stand for integrity, inclusion, and accountability in the upcoming election. formed by a coalition of educators, veterans, small business owners, students, and community activists. Our vote counts represents the strength of unity across geography, race, and ideology. While our stories are different, our mission is the same: to ensure that every voice is heard and every vote truly counts. Through voter education, candidate outreach, and community engagement, we support leaders who are ready to serve the people, not special interests. By working across state lines and elevating local and national issues, we aim to increase voter turnout, inform public dialogue, and build momentum for lasting change. Our vote counts is more than a name. It's a promise of movement and a rallying cry for democracy. Together, we are shaping the future, one informed vote at a time. So that's who we are. Welcome in again tonight as we are joined with Dea, who's running for a U.S. House Representative, District 5. Tonight we will be talking about her background, her vision for her district, and of course, taking your questions live. So for tonight, essentially, we have a set of topics, about 5 sets of topics that we'll go through, and then in between topics, we like to do what we call a rapid fire, and we do 2 of those, one that's political in nature and one that's a little bit more fun. Are you ready?
I think I'm ready as I'm gonna get. I've been trying to get ready all day. Let me tell you. So, all
Okay.
right.
All right. So, Dea, for those who are meeting you for the first time, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're choosing to run for the U.S. House of Representatives?
Sure. Well, I'm going to say I am a fearless fighter for human rights first. However, being a boomer, I've always been in tune to the civil rights movement and always been wanting to push civil rights forward. So, the quick part of it is I grew up in Oklahoma City, a, a loving and nurturing segregated community. And it's one of, you hear people sometimes say we didn't know we were segregated. Some people say they didn't know they were poor. We weren't poor, but we didn't know we were segregated. We had everything we needed. We had our own banks and skating rinks, and we just thought everybody was good the way everybody was. So grew up in Oklahoma City. I was an athlete. I played basketball, ran track, did all those fun things. I went to Oklahoma State University. Uh, didn't play any sports there, but did a lot of intramurals. After that, I interned with the Air Force, their Air Force Base there in Oklahoma City, Tinker Air Force Base. Then I went into the military, active duty. Wait a minute, I did tell you about college. In college, I was an industrial engineer. Went into the military, came out of out of the military, decided I wanted to be a software developer. Got into IT stuff. I was a software developer for a time, a business analyst, and then I semi-retired out of the corporate environment as an IT project manager. So today, I write a lot. I really love getting into my comedic mythology. I have 2 books that I self-published that are on Amazon.
Wow.
And yeah, I do an e-zine called Collinear Spaces now. And I like to write mostly about things that don't get into, the mainstream media news cycles. I also am an outdoor Afro leader, and I love being outdoors. I actually lived off grid for about 4 years before coming back on grid so my husband could teach geometry, which he loves to do. So we still RV a lot. We camp, we hike. Now we have e-bikes. Woohoo! So we're living our dreams right now. So I'm a happy person. However, I got involved in a group that's very interested in reparations. And I pretty much wrote a reparations bill act, and I tried to circulate it with all of our state leaders and specifically my U.S. congressman. I didn't hear from him at all. He didn't respond. When I had other congressmen that kind of, invited me to talk about it, he didn't respond to me at all.
Wow.
Some other things have transpired with him since even then. And so, even though I've worked in a lot of political schemes, a lot of political um, places in the past, um, I said, you know what? I'm just going to run against him because he's going to hear me or I'm just going to take his place. So that's how I got in the race.
Okay. Oh, interesting. I enjoyed the backstory. I love that. All right, so we're gonna start with a little icebreaker. Since it is Black History Month, I'm gonna ask if you could have dinner with any Black historical figure, who would it be and why?
Oh, no doubt, Mrs. Fannie Lou Hamer. I would sit down with her and ask her questions for days because there's a lot of things people don't know. I think about Miss Fannie Lou Hamer, and we were actually stationed in Mississippi for a while, and a lot of her culture still exists in Mississippi, at least in the southern part where we were. So the everything from the pig farms and self determination, her grassroots efforts are to me just phenomenal. She knew. I mean, she wasn't a very well. How can I say? Um, she wasn't. She didn't have a platform like some of the other people. People will say Martin Luther King Jr.
Okay, yes, yes.
and Frederick Douglass and W. Du Bois. She was the real deal. So I'm sorry for that long answer, but
No,
definitely
you're good.
that would be the person. I don't think I could let her go if I ever got to talk to her.
And I can see that she fought for a lot of voting rights for Black people. So absolutely, especially what we're going through right now. So I agree, and I think that's a great segue into our first topic. You did mention that you had a bill on reparations that I saw on your website. So one of your major pillars is closing the wealth gap in this country, which we know the Black community has definitely been impacted by. What is your plan to close the wealth gap?
Well, I want to say, and may not be very popular, but people have to get used to the fact that this country needs healing and repair. There's a lot of people with a lot of solutions. They're good solutions, and I got that. But again, I am a root cause kind of problem solver. So if we don't look at what is really the problem, so with the reparations plans that I want to put forward, it will be a reparations plan for generational wealth, growth. Um, I don't want to downplay anybody's efforts because everybody's out there working hard. I'm talking about the reparationists and the people who are trying to get it into legislatures and into city councils and resolutions. They're working so hard, but I know for sure one check to one person, it's not going to get it done, y'all. I was in a live the other day, and a gentleman. Whoa, I'm disappearing. A
Oh, it's
gentleman
because of the
asked me.
background.
He said, "I want to play devil's advocate," and I said, "No, just talk plain to me, because this is how I'm going to have to be able to go to the congressional floor and present this to people who just don't want to understand that you don't fix problems with band-aids. You have to get back to what did you promise that community, you know?" Uh, in that same session, someone told me, "Oh, you guys have already gotten reparations. You got 40 acres in a mill." And I was like, I don't think the same history you're reading is the same history I'm reading. And I had to explain to her, and she was like, "Oh, I didn't know that." A lot of people don't know. So I'm getting back to your question. When I get an office on Capitol Hill, when they assign me an office, that office is going to be the first temporary office of the Freedmen's Bureau, the Bureau on Freedmen Office on Freedmen Affairs. That will be the temporary office. And one of the first things we need to do is find a way to get everyone a classification somehow in their state. In my state, that was the one thing that my bill asked for. I said, we want vital statistics to allow us to classify as freedmen or freedmen descendants. And I mean, that's just the simple start. Every year, it seems like the census kind of expands on people's ethnicities and cultures. Black and African American, it's not really getting to who all of us are. Some of us did come from Africa. Some of us know our African roots. I've done my genealogy. I'm finding more Cherokee freedmen, genealogy. That's me. I would love to be, and I'm a Pan-Africanist. I absolutely can't wait till the day I get to Africa. But the truth being, um, promises were made, and they were made for good reason. So that would be the first thing I would do is I would set up the Office on Freedmen Affairs. We need to get the census so that people can identify as freedmen. And I would love for my state, the Department of Vital Statistics, to be able to allow people like me to identify as a freedman.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. So once they identify as a freedman, do you have any more steps to that plan?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
just the first step because a lot of people say we're not ready, and that's the point. Some people don't know they're freedmen. Some people, I'm going to say this, don't want to be freedmen, and that's cool. That's fine. If you don't want to be a freedman, that's fine. But that's the first step to being able to actually map what restorative measures, what restorative justice is due to you and your family. Because then we have to start doing the genealogy, y'all. Okay. And a lot of people don't want to do so. I'm going to tell you, when I first found out about how you would, find your freedmen ancestors, I thought to myself, well, that's going to take forever. I'm a retired person. I sit down and do what I want to do when I want to. It took me 2 weeks to find my first freedman ancestor. And since then, I've been helping other people find just one freedman ancestor. Like I said, now I have a freedman ancestor that's Cherokee. So now I can go to back to Oklahoma and say, look, I have Cherokee ancestry, and there's just land, there's resources for Cherokee freedmen. It's not a blanket. To me, it's not a blanket effort. Anything that you want that's going to be sustainable, that's going to be of value to you, it's going to take some time, some steps. Know who you are, be proud of it. Then when you do get whatever reparations are due to you, that value hopefully will stick with you for, and you can pass it down to generations. Then we're closing the wealth gap. You see what I mean?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna stop there and
Absolutely.
let you ask more questions.
Okay, okay. So let's see. So recently, the president expressed his concerns on how the passing of civil rights acts impacted white men negatively. Do you agree with these sentiments? I'm assuming not, but you can expand on that.
Well, not only do I disagree, but again, I'm going to say I've only been on TikTok for about 6 weeks now. I've been
Okay.
purposely going into, sessions and asking people, anybody in here been discriminated? Tell me how you've been discriminated. I'm not yet found anybody who said they've been discriminated because they were a white man. However, as I've grown through this movement for reparations, I've understood that some of our, how can I say, our constitutional amendments, our legislation, our policies, our acts and bills are not worded right. Um, and it may have been on purpose because racial um, uh, designations are never going to hold up in Supreme Court. And I'm trying to be as nice as I can about this. So y'all, please don't be mad at me and start getting offended. But we can't keep calling ourselves descendants of slaves. We are freedmen. And the only way that we have a judicial case is through the designation as freedmen. We were called freedmen through legislation, through the Department of War, as early as 1861. There's no mention of race, black people, descendants of slaves, freedmen. So if we want to start off on a good foundation, we got to kind of start having those conversations. And those are the hardest conversations because people get mad at me real quick. They'll cut me real quick because you have a right to be identified the way you want to be identified. But when we go to court, when we go to get our justice claims, when we're getting repair, we got to talk the same language that was used in 1861 and forward. And African Americans not gonna get it. Black people, I'm black. I'm Black power all the way. but it's not going to hold up in court. So I hope that answers your question about, where we are. The Trump administration, I'm not going to say he's smart, but he got some smart people working for him. So we got to be smarter. I say we got to be smarter and faster. We got to be smarter and faster. So when they start talking about, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, well, I'm right now I've been doing studies on the Voting Rights Act of 1965. And the word race is used all through that. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is not going to hold up at the Supreme Court level, especially in Trump's Supreme Court level. So y'all, take it, be strong, be focused. No, we are not the enemy, each other, we don't fight among each other, but we got to do better. We're smarter than this, and they're going to pull those little, those little tricks on us. Well, it says race, and then, race can't be used to do anything or to get anything. Yeah. So I hope that answers your question, because, I can go on.
Yes, no, it does, and it's interesting to hear how we would have to go about it legally, to kind of start claiming reparations for, as you say, freedmen. I do have one question in the chat, so if anybody in the chat wants to come up and ask a question, or you can put your question in the chat, and I will try to get to it so we can hear from you guys, because that's why we're here. So one question in the chat is, how do I go about finding my indigenous side?
Oh, okay. Well, it all depends, and it's tough because unfortunately, and my platform includes what I call land back, because I know personally of hundreds of tribes that aren't recognized by the Bureau of Indian Affairs. So it makes it hard. I always tell anybody who's trying to do a genealogy project, the oldest person that's still living, go talk to them, interview them. Don't try to write it down, record it, because they're going to say stuff. My aunt, who's 84 now, stuff that she said years ago about this chest that came from North Carolina. I didn't realize till I started doing the project. Oh, yeah, she said the chest was from North Carolina. You have to pick up those little pieces. So I suggest the oldest person, whether it's an aunt, even a neighbor of an aunt or your parents, go talk to them. Get them to talking. Sometimes they'll say, well, I don't know anything. And just get them to talking, and they'll start remembering. When my father was dealing with dementia, he told me a lot of stuff about Little Rock, North Little Rock integration of the high schools and stuff. And he had dementia, but, he remembered those people. He remembered how he felt about it. Just start there. You have to know places, times. The software, AI is getting great, the times you can use a lot of, leeway, but you got to get like within counties, definitely be within a state. And, well, we know, there were Native, or what we call First Americans, all over Turtle Island when the colonizers came. So don't think, well, my family just came from Louisiana. Is that where they originated? And if so, did they come through a port? I'm telling you, get out there, y'all. It's amazing what you can find nowadays. Okay? When you find it, I'm promising you right now, take a screenshot, because it's hard to go back and find stuff when you start going down a rabbit hole and you don't know how you got there. So I have this database now, just screenshots and stuff all over the place. I hope that helped somebody. And if not, go to our website, Volunteer Council. I think it's volunteercouncil.org. Send me an inquiry. I'll try to help you any way I can. I'll try to get you jump started. That's a passion of mine. Every time I help somebody, it comes back to me.
Absolutely. And I've started working on the family tree and like going through my lineage. So it is very interesting to find things, find out facts, look at old documents. So the person in the chat that asked the question, they put a thumbs up. So I'm sure that did help them.
Okay, good. I'm so glad.
All right. So if anybody else has any questions, feel free to put in the chat or request up. So you did mention dementia. So we're going to go into our healthcare portion and talk about your healthcare plan for your district as you go to the House of Representatives. So we know healthcare for all sounds like a great idea. Many other countries already have it. How will you convince your colleagues in Congress to support this, and how will it be funded?
Funding is always going to be the place where I start. Whenever I want to do something, I know from corporate experience, if you can't fund it, it ain't happening. Okay. Now, in the United States here, we have something called appropriations. Okay. And it can be a lot of money, it can be cut. One of my, like I said, I understand before I even come up with the thought of trying to move forward something, where are we going to get the money for it? United States has money. We got money. The money is being mismanaged. I did a research just the other day where the average US citizen is paying like 14% of income tax, okay? 14% on their income, that is. Their average income rate is about 14%, where Tesla is paying less than 1%
Wow.
into, yeah, into that system. Funding, um, healthcare for all should definitely be paid by corporate entities, no doubt. Okay, um, half of the reasons why people are sick comes from corporate entity issues. Okay, so let's get our corporations contributing more into the communities. Now, my healthcare for all, and I have to explain this to people all the time, so I hope I'm not overstepping, is not universal healthcare. Okay, universal healthcare is very much involved in insurance industry. And another thing that I found out through some research is that just filing claims through the insurance industry can cost up to 30% for your cost for your health care. You know, whatever you're getting done, just add 30%, okay, that goes to the insurance companies. So I think my plan, which is to instead look toward community clinics for basic stuff like, burns, cuts. Um, I think the federal government should be able to fund. And, I got to talking to some other people out of state, and they're like, oh, we have free clinics. We don't have free clinics in my district. And we found some faith based clinics in Texas, but we need community clinics. No one should not go to get a cut or a burn taken care of because they don't want to file a claim. You know what I mean? They have to pay
Yeah.
deductibles. And what is that other thing that you have to pay?
Okay.
Well, the co-pays, but then you have this thing that you got to pay up before your co-pays even kick in. And I can't think of the name of it right now, but you know what I mean. So the insurance companies, that whole process, I'm not trying to attack the insurance company, but the whole process, I think, is making people sick. When I got COVID, I went days because I didn't want to go to the, I just didn't want to go and get into all the paperwork. I didn't feel right, doing that. So we would want community clinics. And when you say other countries, of course, a lot of people know in our hemisphere, Cuba has one of the best programs for community clinics. They have state of the art healthcare, even though they're dealing, with crisis. But still, the community is always able to go get healthcare, and nobody has to be worried, I'm going to go bankrupt trying, to get healthcare. So when I speak of healthcare for all, everyone should be able to go to a community clinic. And like I said, in my district, there are no free clinics. If you don't have a healthcare plan, you're sitting there wondering, is this cut deep enough for me to want to pay out of pocket? You know what I mean? That should not be an issue. Or, the kids are sick and they just need some antibiotics. But you know how much, that's going to cost on top of paying for the antibiotics, the doctor's visit to get the prescription. Nobody should have to do that. Community clinics, in my opinion, and there again, as a part of reparations, I want to see freedmen empowerment zones on these in these empowerment zones will be these clinics. So it will be a model, and hopefully other people will look at it and say, yeah, this is a good idea. Nobody should have to make a determination between, sitting there bleeding to death or waiting for something to get infected when they could just go down to the clinic, get it cleaned up, get it bandaged up, and get back to work and get back to school or whatever it is. So that's my version of healthcare for all, in addition to direct pay hospitals. Should I keep going talking about the direct pay hospitals? Because it has
Yeah, you sure? Go
a
ahead.
little bit, it has a little bit to do with what I've talked to community doctors about the healthcare, system. There's some doctors, not very many, and if you are so lucky if you are in a district or a community where there are a team of doctors who said, you know what, you pay us $50 a month and we'll take care of you. Just come on in, and if you need anything, um, I knew a lady who needed prenatal care. She knew she was going to give birth. She didn't have a plan. She didn't trust, I'm going to say, some of the hospitals. I'm in Texas. And she found a doctor that was willing to let her, I think she may have been 4 months, 4 or 5 months, to start paying him in that, trimester for her delivery. And she had the most comfortable. The I went and I was with her. I had never seen anybody have a baby so fast. It just
Oh,
it made me so mad. I was like, "Girl, how'd you do this?" And she just felt so relaxed that I think it really helped. And she came out. She didn't owe any money. The relationship with the doctor afterwards. The girl. I'm sorry. It overwhelms me to think what we as women go through sometimes, and it's not good health care. I'm just gonna say. And
yeah.
I and I've heard doctors say that the insurance companies have a lot to do with the kind of care we get. Saying stuff like, "Well, you can only spend 7 minutes on every patient." What the heck? You hear me talking now? 7 minutes ain't enough for me. I'm gonna have to file 2 claims, to get 14 minutes out of this visit.
So does your plan include cutting cutting insurance companies, or how would that work?
Well, what I am saying is that the money is being mismanaged for social services, bottom line. That money should be, and this is what makes me a grassroots candidate, that money should be coming back to the communities, okay? I don't know a whole lot about a lot of people's universal health care plans. To me, it looks like the insurance companies are getting ready to make more money. I'm just saying, okay? I have to question, does that money ever get to the community level, and so that the patients are getting the care that the doctors want, not what the insurance companies are saying they can give them. So we have to be very careful because, like I said, some people, they just trying to make more money. And so even though they say something that sounds really good, look at where the money's coming from. I think I'm trying to answer your question is we got the money because a lot of entities are not paying into our system so that our social services are taken care of. We need to fix that, and we've got the money. Okay, we got the money. Some of that money is going places that have nothing to do with us. We got to get that money back.
Absolutely. We do have one question in the chat that asks, "Would you be willing to implement Medicare for all or something similar?"
Okay, so Medicare for all, there again, if you, and I haven't gotten there yet, I'm not 65 yet, but I've helped, parents and aunts and things with Medicare. I don't know if the person asking has experience with Medicare. I'm not impressed because yet again, they have to sign on for a health care plan, whether it's United Health or Aetna. And I am not impressed. I think the insurance companies are taking too much of the cost, their payments. When you get to be, I'm not there yet, so hopefully somebody can tell me differently. But when you get to 65, where you can qualify for Medicare, you may be on a fixed income, and those plans keep going up. The cost of those plans keep going up. You're on a fixed income. Those costs for those plans, no, I would much rather, and even as a veteran, I'm gonna tell you this. I've witnessed it at the VA. They want us to assign to a healthcare plan. When does the insurance industry get out of this? So I'm
Hmm.
not really impressed with Medicare for all because I'm not impressed with the way the Medicare system is working now. If I can get into my districts, like I said, coffers, that direct pay will definitely be there for seniors. It's going to be for, everybody. You want to worry about, can I afford my United Healthcare, Medicare premium, which they're trying to take out of my check automatically, and my check don't change. But, the premium can go up. I have not been impressed, y'all. So, again, just be careful because it's a lot of thought. And y'all remember, I'm a business analyst. I look at everything at, the grassroots level. So when you say something like Medicare for all, make sure you talk to someone and they tell you, oh yeah, Medicare is the best thing that's going. I'm not feeling it. So let me know, y'all.
Well, in the comments, they are agreeing with you. So they saying yes, yes. Somebody said their client, they work with clients that are on a fixed income and it's terrible. So they are agreeing with what you are saying. So we know healthcare includes mental health. A study was done that ranked Dallas as one of the worst mental health in the United States based on factors like provider access, therapy costs, and community well-being. What policies would you support that would help citizens get the mental care that they need?
Okay, so part of my community clinics definitely includes, um, I'm going to say, silos, because you don't put mental health with physical health. But there will be silos. I feel like anyone who is feeling a little unstable needs to be able to walk into that clinic and say, you know what? Heck, I'm hearing things, whatever it may be. I think I'm seeing things, whatever it may be. Walk into the clinic and have someone available. Now, I had a discussion with someone the other day because in the United States, we don't have the mental health professionals, we don't have the population to really help all the people who need help right now. So, every time I was at a high school basketball game last night, and I talked to the students, and I was like, any of y'all gonna go into, behavior sciences or mental health studies, psychology, psychiatry? We have to push those professions. Someone told me, well, you can import them from overseas. Yeah, I'm just not that kind of grassroots candidate. I'm like, get our high school students grants and scholarships, get them mentorships, open these clinics so that we can start helping the community. Everybody feels a little bit down every once in a while. It's hard for me to get people to agree with me, but we're traumatized on a daily basis, y'all. Just turn on the
I
TV,
agree.
walk down the street. You can't tell me that mental health should not be a big part of, our society budget. If as a congressperson, I would definitely see mental health uh, as funded, if not as much, you know, um, as the other healthcare disciplines. It's just as important. I definitely want to see it into our prison systems as soon as possible. And I will say this, as a U.S. congressman, basically I can only directly affect federal programs. And federal prisons is somewhere I could walk in the next day and say, we want mental health, programs in here. The VAs, I could do that on day two. You see what I mean? And
Yes.
then once I start, a program, maybe it would be such a good model. I could get states and counties and local communities to adopt it. But I'm not gonna lie, I can't just impact,
Mm-hmm.
the state institution down the street immediately. I'll try. I'll walk in there and try, no doubt. Y'all want me to, I'll go. But I know where I can go immediately. I need to show I have the data to prove outcomes, and then I can take it to the state administrators and I can take it into counties and local. So, again, I'm hoping I'm answering your question because I get real passionate about this stuff, y'all.
No, this is great. That's why we're here to hear your plan. So this is great, and people in the chat are agreeing. And I haven't heard people talk about mental health when it comes to prisons. So that was interesting that you included that because that's definitely something that is probably needed in prisons, mental health services. Absolutely. I'm going to jump into our education portion. You did talk about education a little bit when you mentioned, students being able to go to school, get an education, especially in mental health services, which is something we very much need. So let's see. You've expressed a need to update and accurately document the true history in the United States in schools teaching. How do you plan to get the legislation in Congress, especially with the current efforts to eliminate the Department of Education?
Right. So yes, they can get rid of the Department of Education if they want to. But see, I plan on operating under the Office of Freedmen Affairs. And we can do our narrative right there. Most of the education, I mean, we are America. A lot of us were here when the colonists came. We worked with the colonists. We helped build this country. Our narrative will provide a, I think, more well examined and evidence history of this country. We need to put that out. And I will put that out under the Office of Freedmen Affairs. I will work with the Bureau of Indian Affairs to make sure their historical documents are correct. If you want to get rid of the education department, that's cool. But I know from working with the teachers in the high schools, they'll come for my documentation. In fact, I get people a lot of times saying they want to use stuff off our website because they're not getting it. So when it comes to history, to me, yeah, we don't let a Department of Education slow us down. The high school teachers, now I don't know what's going to happen at the elementary level. That's pretty tough. Middle school, high school, they'll come for our narrative. They'll come for our history documents. So, like I said, I can't wait to get there. Open that Office of Freedmen Affairs, get staffers working on stuff like you're meant, this narrative, get that history put out there. Let's debate it. Let's tell me I'm wrong. Tell me. And in Texas, we have something called the STAR test. It's a standardized test. Somebody determines what's going to be on that test. That's all that gets taught,
Mm,
period. And so we will need Sunday schools or Saturday schools, you see what I mean?
yeah.
To supplement what they're getting. I know that. But as soon as we can make that available, we can make that accessible, parents will be looking for somewhere to put, like my parents, they drop me off at the Freedom Center every Saturday, and I worked with the NAACP. They'll be looking for stuff like that. We can implement stuff like that. The boys and girls clubs, anything that is looking for additional programming, we can get those history lessons. We can get, and we don't want it to be just like reading books and learning stuff. No, we want it to be integral. I have a sister down in Austin, and she's opening what she calls a living museum, where you walk through there and you experience the museum. You're not just reading a book. And what we're finding out is that not just children, adults walk back out of that living museum with a whole different perspective. If you know what I mean.
Yes, absolutely. And I do want to ask, as far as the Department of Education possibly eliminated, and you kind of spoke on needing grants and funding for students to go to college, how would you implement that if the Department of Education is eliminated or parts of it is eliminated?
Well, first thing I'm going to say is independents like me need to get into Congress so we can stop that nonsense. The Department of Education should not be eliminated. Like you said, I think my first undergrad, I used Pell Grants. You know, that stuff is needed. It is necessary. It's not like an option. There's so many people who should not be able, who should be able to go to college debt free. I'm seeing so much of this predatory lending on student loans. It makes me sick. And the people who are doing it, y'all would be surprised, because some of them, y'all, are your fan are your celebrity types, okay? So be very careful. Every student in this country should be able to get first an associate's degree free, no debt behind that. It, and then, depending on their economic status, probably they should be able to get an undergrad. Now, we will need the Department of Education for that. Of course, our free lunches, our school lunches, and our pre-K, all of that are, federal education, Department of Education programs. All of those have very good outcomes. And this is the thing that I would argue. You want to cut it, but look at these outcomes and then compare us, our students, to other students outside of the United States and tell me we don't need the Department of Education. We got to argue this, y'all. I'm sorry, I'm an independent because I'm not impressed with either party right now. This is not something. Our future of this country are the generations that are coming up. They need to be well educated. And if someone wants to know about how I feel about our obsolete public school system, we can talk about that later too. But yeah, we got to get on the ball here. I know we can do better. I think these shenanigans are on purpose. I know they're on purpose. We got to have our Department of Education back. I'm gonna say this: any Democrat who's gonna stand by and let this happen, y'all gonna get replaced. I'm just saying, y'all gonna get replaced.
You know what? I agree. I am one that has student loans for college. My sister is currently in college and we're trying to get the student loans. They've kind of changed how much you can get as far as undergrad. So it has definitely been a struggle. The people in the comments agree with what you're saying. So this is great. If anybody in the comments has a question, feel free to put it in the comments or request up. Were you about to say something?
Well, look, Blessings, who benefits from your education? Who benefits from your skill sets? The
Hmm.
U.S. government, corporations, all of these entities need to know. They can't stand by and let the skill levels drop. They can't do that. That's going to impact. And that's what I see. I'm going to tell you what. I see a lot of foolishness because all of this stuff, it seems like it's hurting us. It's going to hurt them too. This is a
Absolutely.
lose-lose situation. So any country leaders would agree a well-educated, especially a well-educated women in a society makes a society strong. Otherwise, y'all just trying to mess things up for real and look cute, and it don't look cute. So,
I agree. As we talk about college, we know that not every student plans to attend a four-year college, but everyone needs options after high school. What would you support to expand career training, technical education, or job paths for students?
exactly. In my educational plan somewhere, because my platform is getting too big for people to really find stuff right now. But I talk about what I call the obsolete public school system. I believe that every high school student entering their junior year should be starting with an internship in one of their hours, okay? And it's tough because, as an athlete, my 8th hour was athletics, and I don't want to mess that up. But we need one period. When you get to 16, you need to be looking at your future. And I think I was blessed because I had an uncle who was very education minded. He had traveled the world, and he kind of, he said, "D, what do you want to do?" I don't know. What are you good at? I love math. Okay, well, let's look at engineering. School counselors today, and I'm not trying to put down no school administrators, they work hard, okay? But school counselors, pretty much what they do is they just try to get kids in classes. They're just organizing classes. Nobody is getting a lot of um, guidance into where they are going to go, and where they need to be focusing their study. When, my counselor and my uncle said, okay, you like math, you need to take pre-cal, you need to take trigonometry. Don't mess around with, these basket weaving classes because, and I hate to, basket weaving, we need baskets too, but that wasn't my thing. And so I knew what I needed to do so that I was prepared for the future. These high school seniors, at 16. In fact, it's been proven that at 14, a lot of students are ready to start working. I mean, skilled professions, and we're holding them back. Someone said it had something to do with the agrarian culture. I don't know what that's. I don't know about all that, but we're holding students back, and so at their junior year, you need to be, I mean, interning. And let's say you okay, I want to work on cars. So you spend, heck, I'm gonna say 2 weeks over here working with somebody on cars and decide, I don't really like this. Well, good. Now we know something you don't like. What was it about you didn't like? So we can get you somewhere else. I want those students to be able to say, yes, I'm going to college, or no, I'm going down here and I'm going to weld, or I'm going to do something else. Have a plan. And it's not like we're saying you got to do that forever. I'm just saying be guided. I hate to admit that in China, y'all, you test and then they start sending you through your path. You know,
Mm,
it sounds, that sounds kind of archaic because I'm used to the free will choice and stuff. But
mhm.
if we're testing, we're kind of saying where we're interested, what we're good at. If you're good at something, you can enjoy it. If you have to struggle at it, it's not going to be so much fun. So testing is not always bad. So yeah, I see. For if I could get in that Department of Education, I was like in Texas here, I'd be like, yeah, we need to start making sure these juniors have a period where they are actually interning somewhere. They're working somewhere. They're trying to apply. By then you should know how to read. You should know your math. You need to know how to apply that so that you can start looking to your future.
I I agree. When I was in high school, I was able to do an internship with a science in forensic science is what I do. So I was able to do an internship in science and see that okay, I do enjoy science. This is what I want to do in my path and kind of follow that through college and now into my career. So I absolutely agree that having some type of internship is great once in high school.
And I'm losing my
All right.
lighting. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to probably. Can you give me just a minute to go get another lamp? Just a
Oh,
minute.
sure. Go ahead.
Lighting.
All right. We're going to take a little intermission. So while she does that, continue to tap the screen, share the live. I appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate you guys in the chat. Um, let's see. Yes, send your daily heart meets. If you haven't already, let's try to complete the goal to get on this FYP so people can hear this great conversation. I'm glad you guys are here. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying the live, enjoying what Dea is saying, and she is running for a U.S. House of Representative District 5. Um, Somebody put introduction to trade school is a good start, but it's still honestly a band-aid. Okay. Oh, let's see. Okay, we have a poll. So if everybody in the chat can go look at the poll at the top. At the top, there is a poll. We have 32 people in here, so let's go ahead and click it right at the top. It should be under the post name. It's a blue and white clipboard. Click that. Let's see what you guys think. Let's see. Hopefully, somebody put. Hopefully, we can see a reform to the structure to help better methods to be introduced. Okay. Yeah, structure and reform. Okay, I agree with that. Absolutely. Welcome back.
I'm so sorry, and I still didn't get the lighting, but my husband's gonna work on it because I know I'm getting. Seems like I'm getting fuzzy, so I think I'm
Yeah,
losing
I
light.
think it's the background because there's different green screens you can choose. So I think it's just the green screen that you have
Okay.
chosen is like fading you out.
Yeah. Okay. It just
If-
seems like I know it's the sun's going down here, and I was like, maybe I'm losing
okay.
my lighting. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. You're fine. We're gonna work through it. Well, that was a great little pause. So now we can jump into our rapid fire if you're ready.
Sure, sure, sure. There's the extension cord. I need one more. Sorry. Okay, he's
No,
working
you're
on it.
good. Okay. All right. So while he works on that, we'll do our rapid fire.
Okay.
So this is going to be our political one. Term limits, yes or no?
Yes, definitely yes.
One issue in your district you think Congress ignores.
Marginalized communities.
Okay. One thing you like to change about Washington on day one.
Um, the corruption, the the people getting away with what's obviously a a crime. We need
All right.
justice.
And
Justice.
one more. In one sentence, why should your district trust you with their vote?
My district wants my vote because they're sick of who's representing them. He does not, and I know it's supposed to be a quick answer, but he is not listening to the people. I've talked to the people in my district and they want a change, but they don't have options. So I'm going to be their option.
Absolutely. Thank you. Again, we are going to move into our next section, but if anybody has any questions, continue to engage in the chat and always feel free to request up to ask your question. So we're going to move into agriculture. So let's see. Another major pillar of yours is the need for nutritious foods.
Yes.
Currently, with the crackdown on immigration, fresh fruits and vegetables are becoming difficult to obtain. What is your plan to ensure fresh produce if the agriculture work enforcement never bounces back?
Well, first of all, focusing on my district, we have minority farmers who are still having a hard time getting the money that was promised to them from the federal government. These are, look, these are this is the best food, okay? I'm gonna say in the country, some of the best food because they did not get money from ag departments. They weren't able to get loans. They're pretty much organic food right now. So they're struggling because the same people, and it actually happens to be our state agriculture commissioner that has put these blockades for them to get their money. These same people are also trying to buy their farms, of course. So we're in a struggle right now. And so if I see that here in, and I'm going to say specifically East Texas, I think it's all over the country that there are farmers out there, not just even minority farmers, who are struggling. Uh, we can get them. Now, I know there's the immigration issue. Um, it's another issue that there's another battle to fight. If we can get these black farmers, these minority farmers, the technology, the equipment they need, we can get these crops to market. And they're the best food, okay? And I say nutritious food for all because I don't want any of the big industry farm GMO sprayed pesticide stuff, lettuce bouncing on the floor kind of food, okay? I really, so we need to, the answer to that question is we need to stop the corruption, stop the, and I think it's a prejudice profiled kind of thing to keep certain farmers from producing the best products, getting it to market. They don't want to compete with them. They don't want to have to, then I can hear you. They don't want to have to compete with them. They want to take their land. They want to take their business, and then we're all eating junk, and we're all getting sick, and it goes on and on. So, does that kind of answer your question of how what I would do? I would definitely make sure we get that money to those farmers.
Absolutely. Absolutely, it does. Next question. What incentives should the government offer American farmers to make sure that they produce healthy, high quality products and reasonable prices?
See, that's just it. I don't think a lot of us understand the difference between industry farming and real farming. Most
Okay.
real farmers don't want to deal with the pesticides. They want
Hmm.
good seeds, good, heirloom seeds. They don't want to be exposed to the chemicals. They don't. So if we were to, I know we can't at this point. I'm not gonna pretend like there's miracles that are gonna happen. We can't get rid of all the industry farms now, but we have got to stop supporting them. We have to stop giving them money, stop giving them credits, and start moving that money over to our farmers so that they are incentivized to keep their farms. Make sure they are generational farms. Because I'm gonna tell you, I don't want to do no farming. So if you like farming, I'm gonna buy your stuff. I'm gonna support you.
I'm with you. I don't want to farm.
No,
I
no,
appreciate the farmers.
no. So you see what I mean? And that's the thing is what I'm seeing is we have what we call industry farming, and they're getting the tax credits, and they're getting the subsidies, and they're getting the money to say it. Okay, that money needs to stop. If you want to keep doing your industry farming, you're gonna have to pay. You just pay for it yourself. Pay for it out of whatever profits you're getting, because any help from the federal government will go to the farmers, the U.S. citizens. Corporations are not citizens. They're not people. And we got to stop treating corporations like they're people. The United States government, it has a responsibility to its citizens always. We'll have a responsibility to corporations. So to me, that's an easy one. They don't get the money no more. They don't get the support anymore. It goes to the real farmers. Again, real people bring real solutions. You're not going to have no crazy food if you stick with real farmers.
Let's see. We do have one question in the chat. They said, would you support a timely farm bill that would protect crop insurance and commodity support?
So that's a the word insurance always makes me start grabbing. It's gonna be tough because remember I'm a grassroots politician. Um, there's a lot of mechanisms. There's a lot of financial tools out there that people have begun to rely on. I think there's a better way, y'all. I think the farmers will get the support. They'll get direct pay for whatever they need to support the U.S. citizens so that they eat nutritious food. They're not going to need those kind of mechanisms anymore. I'm just saying. And I'm not going to say I'm good at ag. I went to ag school. I'm an Aggie, Oklahoma Aggie, but that's about it. I know the difference between a cow and a bull. So I'm good on that. But y'all, when I hear insurance and, people wanting loans, that's how I think people get in trouble. And that's just my experience. Look, they should be able to go to the the Department of Agriculture. I was going to say FDIC, the Department
Yeah.
of Agriculture, and say, look, I have needs. I qualify. Can you cut me a check? Yes. No more instruments, no more financial instruments, y'all. That's not the way I would roll as a politician. I'm sorry I can't be that for you if that's what you really, really want.
They put, thank you. I get what you're saying. So whatever you said, answer their question. Absolutely. Um, let's see. And one more far as agriculture. Would you support a bill that offers small grants to Americans who own at least 1 acre of land to plant and maintain small gardens?
Definitely. Grassroots politics means we support community gardening. We support, like you said, micro farming. We support, um, you know, I've been able to go to our ag department. I think it's Texas A&M Extension and get rain barrels. You know what I mean? And get help with seeds, get soil testing. We can expand on that and get everybody feeling like, yeah. Now I'm not saying I don't like growing. I do. I grow. What do I have? I have tomatoes. I have okra. I'm not gonna farm, but there is nothing like being able to eat your own grown food, and it's not easy, but it brings out a different quality in you. Um, so yes, there again, I'm telling you, blessings. There's a lot of money going to stuff that is not benefiting the U.S. city. There's a lot of money out there. Everybody knows it. Most of the candidates, we've talked about it. This money's being mismanaged. We can definitely encourage people to do, and it's going to come down to we're going to need that because some emergency situations might be coming up. Everybody needs to know how to grow a little bit of something, enough to go to the next door neighbor, say, you got some peppers, I got some tomatoes, let's trade out. Definitely. And the money is there. If the money's not there, I have something for you. We need to stop sending the money up there if it can't come back. And I know that wasn't a question, but
No, you're good.
nobody argue with me that we don't have money. Don't argue with me that we have a $32 trillion deficit. That's not our deficit. I don't know who did that. Okay, that's not our deficit. So, yes, ma'am. Again, I say there is a person who I was never taught to grow in the backyard. I learned on YouTube. I learned a lot of the stuff on YouTube that's good for me, and it takes a little practice. There's ag extensions out there. We can expand those programs to start helping communities more. Like you said, the last community garden that I was in the community. Right now, I'm so far out. I don't get to be in the community garden anymore. It was on the church's land. The church said, "Okay, yeah, we got this big field out here, and we started a community garden there. It doesn't have to be an acre." And man, we couldn't even give away all that food. Uh, we
Wow.
have we have one HBCU here that turned their football field into a garden.
I love
So
that.
there's no limitations, y'all. And the community still didn't want to eat it. So the Dallas Cowboys came in and bought all that food up.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. I do have a question. So, would you, because we kind of talked about education before, maybe support schools starting community gardens in like a school type of program?
Actually, you would be surprised. There's a lot of teachers who do that as a club. And then in Texas, there's hardly any high school here, middle school too, that doesn't have an ag department. And usually they like to get into ranching a lot. But yes, a lot of schools have those, those programs. What's not happening, like you said, is the money, the community dollars need to go into that, and the community people. I've worked in a community gardening program called CSAs, where you do what we call shares. I'm trying to figure out what CS, community share something, where the farmer, they put together bags of food, and you get into this program and you pay once a month or something like that, and you get a share of what's coming out of the gardens. The high schools could do this, and just like with Girl Scouts, because I worked with Girl Scouts too, the students can learn marketing skills on top of producing a product. They're
Mhm.
learning get the whole 360-degree education. And this is what I mean about applying. So you know I could go to my husband, the geometry teacher, and say, guess what, these students don't even know how to do they don't know how to add up a bag of tomatoes and half price it, or and so then I expect him to go into class and say, y'all, look, if the bag was $50 and they're selling it for half price, you know what I mean? Let's apply these real world situations. We're too used to going into Walmart getting food. And my granddaughter told me, she said, Nana, food don't come from a garden, it comes from Walmart.
Oh, wow.
So you know how good
Wow.
I'm doing, okay?
Um, I 100% agree that more hands-on real life experience in school is definitely needed. Something that makes a well-rounded person. So you have the smarts, but then you also have, you're able to support yourself as an adult and once you get into the real world. So I agree. Again, if anybody has any questions about agriculture, please feel free to put them in the chat or request up. We I wanted to ask you talk a lot about that the money is being spent in the wrong places. What plans do you have once you get to Congress to kind of help fix the budget to make sure money is going to the right places in the right communities?
Yeah, someone asked me the other day, so okay, you're going up there as an independent, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, but because the one thing that the Democrats and the Republicans have is that they stick together. Good or bad, they stick together. And as an independent, it's going to be tough. What I would be asking for is congressional committee hearings. I would like to see 50, 60 of those a day. I want these people to come to these congressional meetings, these oversight hearings, and I want you to lie to the people under oath, okay? Seriously, I really do, because that money's being mismanaged. You know, the Pentagon hasn't passed an audit. Gosh, I don't think they've ever passed an audit. You know, somebody said the first thing they were going to do was to check their gold reserves. Do we know if we have any gold? Another administration pretty much sold off all our petroleum reserves and we don't know about it. So all of this stuff, let's have these hearings. Y'all come and tell me what happened to our oil reserves. Where is the gold? How come the Pentagon can't pass an audit? Okay? I'm just gonna be asking questions, and you know they're probably gonna kick me out within a year. But we have to get these people to show that they're willing to lie under oath. That's the only way they're gonna be able to do this. Okay, and we all know with the internet and very smart people fact checking stuff, they're gonna get caught, and some people are gonna have to come, you know, come to Jesus moments and just tell the truth. Now that you told us that y'all spending $5,000 on a hammer, and we know it only costs $5, we'll take that other $4,995 down to District 5's community, community garden. To me, it's that simple. Otherwise, and I don't want to see a lot of people get in trouble, but you could do that or you can go to jail, is the way I feel about it. So,
Okay. Thank you for answering that.
sorry about that. I know that sounds harsh, but
No, we might need some harsh stuff going on, especially what's happening right now in politics. So we might need to bring down the hammer, so to speak.
$5 hammer, not the $5,000 hammer.
Yes, yes. I think somebody put in the chat, what about the ability to claim ownership of organic genetics of foods? I'm not sure what they mean, but
No, and I don't know if this answers their question, but here in the United States, we got a problem with certain people who, there again, just want to sell you seeds. Okay? They want to sell you, I guess they're called infertile seeds. These seeds will produce one crop. They will not produce heirloom seeds, so that you can take those seeds and replant them. And that's how farming works, y'all. Okay? You don't just go get some seeds that, like I said, are infertile. You grow something, and the next year, you know, I've got tomatoes and mint. It comes back every year. I don't have to keep replanting those plants. So if they're talking about what I'm talking about, those are some things we're going to have to legislate. You know, I don't feel like, you know, common sense needs to be legislated, but some people are just too greedy. And that's just industrial greed. Again, I'm not pointing my finger at people, because I know every corporation has a responsibility to their shareholders. And that's been one of those grifts and scams, is to require, not just ask or sell, but require farmers to use these infertile seeds to be a part of that grift. So that person can let me know if that's what they're talking about. We're going to have to legislate it. And I hate to do it. It sounds like too much government, but if y'all don't want to use common sense,
we're gonna have to do something. Okay. All right. Thank you for that. We're gonna do one more rapid fire. This is more the fun rapid fire. Okay. So,
we're having fun, blessing. So,
if you could have any superpower, what would it be?
oh gosh, you know, I think I want to be invisible, because even though I talk a lot, I listen a lot, and I want to walk into rooms and listen to some of this stuff. Especially with how y'all getting away with all these lies. So yeah, I want the superhero power ability to be invisible.
Okay. Morning person or night owl?
Morning. I'm up. If I sleep past 5 o'clock, I think I'm sick.
Oh wow, 5 in the morning. That's a morning person for sure. Travel back in time or into the future?
I think I want to go to the future. So when I get back, I can tell everybody how to win the lotto.
Oh, yes, tell me. Make sure I'm on the list.
You're my
um,
friend, right? You're my friend now, aren't you? Now that I'm back
um,
from the future.
music or podcast?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Music or podcast?
Oh gosh. So I am a high vibration person. I love the 432 hertz. And you know what? It could be as simple as a waterfall. So I'd have to say music.
Okay. Last question. Your favorite museum you visited?
Oh gosh. Um, you know, it's probably gonna be the. I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's Spanish. In Mexico City, we went to a museum. I went looking for the Olmec heads, but what I found was is expansive. And that was my history. I saw more of my history in those museums than I see around here. Oh, I
Wow.
can't think of the name of it, but Mexico City, if you get a chance to get in there, they've got like three of these museums. They're a museums of natural history. They have a name. It's, maybe someone can put it in the chat if they can think of. It's all in Spanish, the name of it. I spent all day wanted to go back in this one museum. So yeah, they know how to do it. They put it together well.
Thank you for answering that. I hope that was a fun rapid fire for you. All right, we're going to jump into our last section. And let's see, one more. Okay, so the Dallas County Jail has reached a critical crisis, housing over 7,000 inmates, which officials partially attribute to insufficient software, which delayed the inmate release. What policies would you put forth to eliminate this situation from continuing to happen?
Yeah, first of all, Dallas, the city of Dallas, you know, which is not totally separated from Dallas County, has an awesome city manager. She is the bomb. I could be her if they would let me. She would just, she's so cool. But Texas has a problem with wanting to make everything big. Everything in Texas is big. The county jail should never have been allowed to get that big. We have a lot of landscape. We have a lot of real estate. Yes, we have a problem with some people not wanting to give up their farmland, but you know, y'all, we got to work this out, okay? We have schools with 6,000 students in one school.
Wow.
Just craziness. Same thing with, you know, I'm a big proponent, and you know, people are always like, "You got family in jail?" I don't. I don't even have any family in jail, but I'm not going to jail, and I don't want nobody else to be in jail. And if they do end up in jail, they do deserve to be treated humanely. So, in this jail you're talking about, people have gotten lost.
Wow.
Women have said they've had children and they can't find their babies. This is out of control because there's no way to manage anything that expansive. The technology, as a former IT person, I just got through talking to someone earlier about this. Technology is a tool, it's not meant to solve your problems. You know, you use the tool and you interact with the tool. So they need, and they have been trying to find a new site to build a new jail, and the craziness that's been going on. Look, this is where, like you said, maybe a congressman needs to come in and say, this land right here, the federal government is giving it to you. Build this jail because now you are impacting the safety of my citizens in my district. And federal government got land all over the place. You know that, right? They don't really tell you. But yeah, the federal government, a congressperson can come in and do that and say, here, this land is for Dallas County. Start your construction project. Tell us what you need. Tell us how we can support you. It's impacting public safety. Okay? This is a priority over your Olympic games, your FIFA games, your NFL games. Okay? So that's what happens in Texas.
Absolutely. Let's talk about infrastructure. People want infrastructure investments that also create good local jobs. How would you make sure infrastructure and environmental projects create economic opportunity for the residents in your district?
Yes, infrastructure is way behind. Again, you can look at, heck, I was going to say China, but let's look at Africa, okay? Ghana has better infrastructure than we do right now. Y'all, come on off this, okay? The streets, I tore up a tire, going to Arkansas one day. This
Oh
was
wow.
on a federal highway, blessing, okay? That should not happen. That should not happen. This is federal. You don't have the dollars? Yes. So just like we need to get money back to the communities, I'm going to say that 100 times, get that money back to the communities. People already know they have potholes, they have bridges that are unsafe. Um, our electrical grid, our water lines are outdated because they're sending the money other places. And I can't say that enough, y'all. If you're still running behind, sorry, your political parties trying to start wars, you know, help your defense contractor buddies, I would call you out left and right. And if they ignore me, if they shoot me down, I'll come home and start talking about it. Because we need to get together and start demanding we keep our money with us. Now, if y'all want to play soldier all over the world, these defense contractors better find the money to pay for it, but not our tax dollars. Our tax dollars, either we're going to find congressmen like me to get it back in the communities, or y'all gonna mess around and find out these people are gonna start keeping their tax dollars. They're gonna figure it out. And again, we got the money, blessings. We got the money. To don't let and these and I they're not third world countries, but they were behind us about 20 years ago, and now they have better infrastructure than we do. It has to be torn down. It has to be built. We need to use, yet again, our high school students to come up, learn how to do city design. You know what I mean? It's another discipline that I think a lot of our high school students, they don't think of. Cities need to be designed. Trucks have to get places. People have to get places. So there's the jobs. Okay, we need city designers. We need architects. We need people who are going to research the best materials that are going to be lasting materials. Don't throw just some blacktop down there and then when the weather comes in, it's another pothole.
Yep.
No, you need to get serious about this. I think that's called material science engineering. We need civil engineers. Those are jobs, blessings. We got a lot of fixing to do. And with that fixing, it's going to require skill set and workers, skilled workers indeed. But we can get jobs. We can get people working if we start fixing our own stuff. And that's just not the infrastructure, like you said, the food, the schools. We start fixing our own stuff. We have local jobs.
Absolutely. It's like one big circle, you know. You fund the education so the students learn about these jobs. They're able to go do these jobs. They fix up their own community. The money goes back into the community. So once you kind of work on one thing, it helps fix the other thing. So I 100% agree with you.
And
This
that's
has
and
been,
that's
go ahead.
grass and that's grassroots economics, grassroots politics. Because I'm kind of getting upset. A lot of these candidates are calling themselves grassroots just because they're not taking money. But are you really seeing how the money must be applied to your community first? Trickle down economics doesn't work. They're not going to get that money to you. So I would love to see more grassroots candidates talk like you just talked. That those resources, including human resources, have to recycle through the community to make us the nation that we need to be.
Absolutely. Dia, this has been a great town hall. We are coming towards the end. I have learned so much about you and your policies and why you're running for Congress. I'm going to ask a couple of closing questions. And if anybody in these last couple of minutes have a question that they want to get asked, go ahead. Oh, hold on. Go ahead and request up or put it in the chat and we'll fit it in there right before we get out of here. It looks like we do have one person in the request. Let's see.
Hello.
Hello,
Hello.
hi. Welcome to the panel.
Hi.
Go ahead and ask
Yes.
your question.
Okay. I have a question about did you heard about the independent candidate to the presidential 2028 United States presidential election, Rabbi Michael Ben Youssef?
Chicago. Yes.
Yes, exactly, sister, exactly.
Yep, I know
So
him. I've talked to him. So yeah,
that is
it's gonna be a.
amazing because
Mhm.
because
Resolution, I think we lost you. Resolution? Okay, I think she lost connection. I'm going to drop her down. I hope that was just your question because we lost connection with you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and
But it
yes,
seemed like you knew the person she was talking about.
I do know him, and like Anthony, Anthony's my brother. He's down there. My brother in Florida. We've connected with him, and we do collaborate. I found a number of independent candidates across Texas, and yes, I'm expanding across the nation. Hopefully, we can get a network because we're going to have to support each other when we start getting in. Because they not gonna go quietly. You know that, blessings. They're not gonna
Absolutely. And we've had Anthony on here before. And we had a town hall with him as well here at OVC. So it's great to see all the connections being made amongst the candidates. So I'm going to go into our closing questions. Let's see, which one do I want to ask?
And don't let me
Um,
forget to congratulate you guys on your 100th town hall. I was
oh,
bragging on
yes.
you guys last night that you guys actually have elected candidates in office. So, this is just wonderful. And I thank you so much. You have been a wonderful interviewee. I was nervous. You made me feel so comfortable with,
Oh, thank you.
interacting today. Yes, it's been great. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, and thank you for joining us tonight, and thank you for seeing our 100th town hall celebration. This has started from the bottom, as you say, grassroots, and really just came together to make a change. So it's been awesome. Let's see. So if you're elected, what's the first concrete change you'll make in your first year, and how would people in your district feel the impact in their daily lives?
Well, like I said, one of the first things I'm going to do is put up a sign that says, "Welcome to the Office on Freedmen Affairs." Okay? So, everyone in my district who is ready for healing and repair is going to get it. Okay? Anybody who is ready to talk to their representative, okay? Because some of these representatives around here, they're having listening sessions. No, I'm talking about no less than every 90 days. Come talk to me. Come visit with me. Tell me what's going on. That's the only way I can be effective. If y'all want me to make this up, I can do that too. But the first thing I know I'm going to do is I am going to represent this district as a district where the congressperson listens to their constituents, is ready to jump in it, for them. Don't send me up there if you don't want me to, and I'm not going to be disrespectful. Don't do that, because I got people who hold me accountable. But we should never stop fighting. You're going to see me in there working day and night. I'm taking my RV up there so I can go camping whenever I feel overwhelmed, and I'm going to get back to work, okay? But we're going to have to heal and repair this country. And that has everything to do with the healthcare, the housing, that has everything to do with the food, and a lot to do with mental health. We're going to have to, and everything that I can touch, like I said, I'm not going to be like trying to get in the local or the county business. At the federal level, the first year, I should be able to fix a whole lot of stuff. Like I said, federal prisons, the VA situations, anything, the Social Security administrations, anything that's federal, I should be able to tap into immediately. And the way I feel about it is doing that kind of stuff, I'm going to make connections so that I can even get closer to the state and the county and all the way to the local community efforts. But what I'm going to put up a schedule. Y'all come talk to me. Every 90 days, I expect to see whatever office or community center we can get packed. Okay? I'm coming in because I'm not going to be up there in DC all the time. It's a nice place, but it ain't like home. So I'm coming home and I want to hear it. Y'all speak plain. Don't be attacking me and throwing stuff at me, but tell me what's going on so that we can get our money back into our communities, so that we can get right. We have to be the United States. People who feel like they're being discriminated, whether you're a white man and you think that you're being discriminated, let me know what the heck's going on. It needs to be fixed. You hate the police, that's not right. We got to fix this, okay? You have a right to safety, public safety. Can't be saying I hate the police. We got to fix these things. So that's what the first year, I want my constituents to say she was here, she was listening, she tried to fix everything that she could. What she couldn't get fixed, she probably got in trouble, and that's why she couldn't get it done. Because she's pushing too hard, too fast. But that's my personality.
Absolutely. Looks like we do have one more question in the chat. Let me see. I guess, it says, is the U.S. still a constitutional republic?
Y'all, that's a trick question. I'm going to say it right now because you know how the Constitution was written. The Constitution needs some more fixing. Like I said, healing and fixing is my platform. When the Constitution was first written, it was written for white men, not even women, and landowners. It has evolved over the years. I can't remember the last time we've had a good amendment. It needs to be fixed. We need some healing. We need some fixing. That's not going to come without justice. I'm telling you, you can't just put a Band-Aid and say, okay, all is forgiven. We're going to forget what happened 250 years ago. It don't work that way, y'all. We got to get to where stuff like what's happening now does not get to this point again. We are a civilization. We ain't just a group of people out in the Wild Wild West. And for those people who don't want a real fix, we got to figure out what's wrong with them, get them some help so they can get back in the room with us, and we can keep being America the Beautiful, y'all.
Absolutely. This, Dea, has been a great town hall. I want to thank you for joining us tonight. Before we go, your final words. What is your message to voters as we head towards Election Day?
So here's the thing, y'all. If you are in Texas, anywhere near me, please spread the word, because as an independent candidate, I have to get a petition of what we call wet signatures in this time frame before I can even get on the ballot. And that is step one. So no, I'm not really like begging for money. I'm not begging for a lot. I need these signatures, okay? And I'm a deputy register now, so for people who are having problems with their status, so they can't, they can sign the petition, I can work that out too. I just need people to help me get these signatures. And I'm going to try to be in the community as much as I can. But if you have churches, if you have organizations, and you're like, we've got 20, we got 50 people who want to sign your petition, I'm on my way, okay? So I got that step one. If I don't get on the ballot, it's going to be really, really hard for me to get elected. But I think I can do it. 500, I know I got 500 people who want to sign the petition. I just got to get to them. You know what I mean? I got to find them and get to them.
So you need 500 signatures for your petition to get on the ballot?
And they're wet signatures. And when we say wet signatures, it's not like you could just drop the petition in the break room and people can sign it. I have to be there, or a trained volunteer has to be there to read them an oath. Okay. And they gotta be a registered voter, and they cannot, I almost forgot this. Thank you, Blessings, for reminding me. Please, if you're in 5th District, do not vote for a primary candidate. You can vote in the primaries, okay? But skip the part about who you want to vote for as your 5th District primary candidate. If you do, can't sign my petition. They got you, I'm telling you. Yeah, they got you.
Interesting. So you say you need these petitions. How can people find you? How can they reach out to you? Go ahead and give all your socials and how people can keep in contact with you as you continue your run for office.
So So d4congress.org is the website. I think on Facebook, I'm Patah D, which is my comedic name. Again, you can get a link to the socials from the web page. I'm on X. I'm on Blue Sky. I love Blue Sky now. My Instagram page isn't the best. Of course, I'm here on TikTok. But yeah, y'all, there's a little form on my webpage. Everybody on my team is monitoring it. Hit it up. You don't have to say much. Just say hi. We're encouraged. We take prayers. We take it all. We're just not taking money just yet because I'm telling you, the focus is on this petitions. If you want to buy a button, I have buttons coming too, or you want to put a yard sign in, just let me know. I can get that to you. But right now, y'all focus on trying to help me. Let me tell you, if I can, Blessing, right quick. So
Okay.
these are people who live in Mesquite Town Center area. If you live in the Firewheel Garland area, so these are like the borders. So I can take signatures. Of course, Forney, Kaufman, Terrell, Crandall. If you want a map, email me or whatever. I'll get you the map so you'll know. If you want to host an event for me, thank you. You know, you want to bring people there. Hey, this is grassroots. I told Blessings how I got in this. You know, we were like, look, we can't keep letting these people just do anything. You know what I mean? We
Absolutely.
got to get in there. So I was the one out of the group who has the time and, you know, the time and energy. Everybody else is working, parenting, doing all that good stuff. Sorry, I had to be the one, but I'm the one. I'm here. I think if I get on the ballot, Blessings, they're going to vote for me because they're tired of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Again, Dea, I want to thank you for joining us tonight. So I want to invite you and our audience to our next town hall, which will also be happening tonight, with Amanda Hollowell, and she is in Georgia. She's running for Congressional District 1. I believe that's tonight at 8 p.m. Perfect. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're available, please join us for another town hall. And then I also want to invite you to what we call Candidates Roundtable, where it's a panel just full of candidates where you guys can talk about the current things going on in politics and your run for Congress, bounce ideas off each other, just a panel full of candidates who talk politics. Our next one is February 15th, and if you can't make that one, the next one is March 1st, 3 p.m., and we do these every other Sunday. So look out for an email from OVC about that. Again, I want to thank you for being here tonight. I want to thank the audience for being here tonight, for engaging in the conversation. This has been great to learn about Dea and why she's running for Congress and her plans for her district and what she will do when she gets into office. Before we go, I just want to remind you guys who we are. We are Our Vote Counts, OVC, a nonpartisan movement uniting Americans from all walks of life to empower voters, support candidates of integrity, and ensure every voice is heard. Through education, outreach, accountability, and action, we're building a stronger democracy, one informed vote at a time. Join us. Your vote is your power. Good night, guys. See you tonight at 8. Thank you.